Hello folks, so today I'm going to paint my nails again. So I filmed the first part and I don't know what happened. The resulting video was corrupted somehow, so I've had to delete that file that does not do anything, and we are already on, we have not deleted, I have already removed last week's nail polish and done a little trim and file, so now we are ready to go ahead with the base coat for today's polish. This is still my old Essie one that I will keep using until it has run out. I've got the football on today in the background because we have finally made it back to football season. Kind of wondering if it would like make a nice noise to just have it on real low in the background. For today I just have it muted, but well, especially because we're about to come up to halftime, it'll just be ads. But I might try that in the future. I feel like low sports TV is a soothing background noise. At least for me, someone who grew up in a bit of a sports nut family. I don't know if I can even say family. My dad was always really into sports. My little brother was obsessed with a very young age with sports. And I have always liked sports. Well, certain sports. I really like football. I'll like watch basketball, but I don't get into it. I don't know, it's just not that entertaining to me for whatever reason. And kind of same thing with soccer, international football. I don't know. It's like just a bunch of like running up and down the court or the field, and in basketball you score a ton. In soccer you barely score. But I feel like the vibe of the games are very similar, and like that the same thing is happening constantly. I don't know. It is simply not that interesting to me. So I know I've offended a large part of the sports viewing world by saying that, but that's my personal opinion. Mostly I like football, and I like a lot of Olympic sports. We recently had the it was the swimming world championships that I was watching. Watched Katie Ledecky crush again. I do wonder what it's gonna take for them to actually say that Katie Ledecky is the best distance swimmer of all time, unqualified. Because they all say like, oh, best female swimmer ever. But let's take the female off that qualifier. I think the amount of dominance she's had in her area is unparalleled by male or female athletes. Well, I shouldn't say athletes. I should say swimmers, distance swimmers. But who knows? Maybe there's some guy from the 80s or something that I just don't know about. But I feel like they would have brought him up. They're always bringing up like, oh, Michael Phelps, and it's like, that guy was a flash in the pan compared to Katie Ledecky. Alright. That is our base coat completed here. So, give that one moment to dry down just a little bit here. Have a nice sip of my coffee. filming this in the morning, so don't be appalled that I'm drinking coffee at night. Alrighty, so let us take a look at some nail polishes and decide what to wear. Here is the big old box. Once again, I'm going to put aside this bag here. Someday we'll get into this. Similar to last week, I do kind of already know what I want to wear. I feel like I kind of have a script. This like end of August period. What's this? Am I missing one? I've been slowly taking the boxes off of these. For the longest time, I would keep them all in the boxes, like this one. But then eventually I was just like, you know, why? So I've been slowly taking the boxes off. They fit a little less snugly in the box without the boxes. But alright, let's get into it. So, last week we wore, still in my other box to the side with my nail clippers. So this was from last week, our nice dusty brick red. So what I normally do, it's kind of funny, I've liked this pattern, but I wear this one, and then very often what I do is wear this one next, at least at this time of year. I like to wear that one, and then I like to wear this one. This brighter orange I like to save for when it's more like, feels like actual fall, and then it's like, I don't know, like fall leaves color to me. So this one I usually save for like in early October. So we will surely come back to that one in a few weeks. But I like this like kind of, it's almost like a creamsicle orange. I also like to wear this one like in July if I'm not feeling like a hot pink or something. Let me shake it up for you a little bit. It's settled. Is that little like ball noise any good? I just feel like the visual of me like violently taking this back and forth is not optimal. No. See, it's just kind of like this nice orange color. This one comes out pretty good on the camera. That's pretty much what it looks like in real life. And then what I'm probably gonna do next week. So here's kind of the, I move this down. So we have the red and then the orange. And then what I probably will end up doing next week is this yellow color. Shake this one up also. This one is this nice pale yellow, which this is also kind of a spring color. But I feel like this is less often. I might get tired of it by next week, so we'll see. Of this, like, I don't know, color vibe, but this is often what I do. I mean, it's still summer, but I'm kind of really wishing that it was fall already. Let's see. I'm not feeling a blue vibe at this point in the year. This is all for, like, the dusty colors for me. The August into September. Because it could be a gold. Kind of like to save these more for, I like to wear the metallics in the winter more often. Or I like a gold in the summer too. Let me shake this one up. Get that little wheelie bit out of the bottom to distribute throughout. A bit over. Here we go. And that's into some of the blacks, which obviously will be for later in the fall and the winter. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with my orange today. How did we have these arranged? Here we go. I'm going to dispose of this box. This was kind of the old julep claim here. Treat yourself to the strengthening power of hexanol, which I have no idea what that is. Even color distribution and superior coverage. Oxygen technology that lets nails breathe. Antioxidants from pure green coffee extract. So, who even knows what that means? No animal testing, recyclable, lasts for, I mean, it's 30 months, which I have severely overrun. It's been way more than 30 months. Flammable, and this, you can tell this is back in the day, because it only says 5 free. I think we're up to like 8 free by now. So, I guess this is, I'm putting toxic stuff on my nails or whatever. I feel like all nail polish is putting toxic stuff on your nails, because that's like not natural for stuff to stick on your hands like that. But for what, I don't know, 10 to 15 years ago, that was what we were doing at the time. I'm avoiding whatever the original 5 are. Alright, put the box away here. And I think we're ready to go with coat number 1. Shake this up a little more. They have this little swatch me on all of them. I think I have swatched like 1, and then I was like, this is a huge mess to get it up there, so I'm not doing that anymore. Shaky hands, come on now. This is fine. Did not get enough on there. This is gonna be a hideous coat. I've not actually eaten yet. I was like, let me get the first coat on and drying and then I'll eat. But that may have been a mistake with how shaky my hands are. My hands are shaky at all times, but it is worse when I'm hungry. Okay, I got a decent amount of product on the brush at least that time. There we go. See, this one has much less coverage than last week's. I guess just because it's orange, it's a paler color. It's always nice to do a nice dark color. For that reason. But I do like this orange. Sorry, the football came back from halftime. So I have to look up and watch. I guess that's another thing I like about American football is, like, it's very easy to watch while you're doing something else and still be able to, like, actually keep up with what's going on. Because there's always the pause between every play. And then it builds the tension when you get down to the end. Alright, let's see how my left hand is gonna do. Did not get enough again. I'm gonna have way too much. Shaky, shaky. Okay, I missed this part over here. Oh, good enough for a first coat. Okay. I keep forgetting to look up what setting I need to flip to get my computer monitor to stop going to sleep on me in the middle of a video. So if I'm wandering out of the frame, that is going to be why. Alrighty, come on now. There we go. There. Did I get that whole thing? Yes. Alright. That is coat number 1 accomplished. Gonna eat my breakfast while this dries up, and then we'll be back to do the second coat. Alright, we're back. First coat is dry enough to proceed. Another little shake. Alright. See what we can do about the massacre of this thumbnail. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back for a third coat on that guy. Ooh. Just threw an interception. Yeah, very bad throw. Not a bad throw, really. Bad decision. The receiver was not open at all. And that one didn't do that good either. We'll just have to have a little bit of a sloppier look this time. I think that's the hazards with light colors like this. Just harder to get a nice opaque coat. Get all the way to the edge there. Ah, I screwed up. Despite how many years I've been painting my nails for, it's hard to remember that you can never go back and redo on a wet stroke. Ooh. See, I'm doing it again. Okay. That sort of worked out in my favor. Yeah, but not really. So you just kind of end up making holes in it. This is gonna focus for me. It's not gonna. Did not get over to the edge there. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to do 3 coats today, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. My laundry also went off a couple of minutes ago, which I forgot I started, so I guess I'll just have to sit in the washer wet for a while till I finish all this and get fully dry. There we go. Alright, last little pinky. Oops. Trying to rest my hand on wet nails. Ooh, that was badly done. I need more stuff on here. gonna have to come back in for a third coat. With the amount of little gaps we've got going on here. It is funny. Can't really see it on camera. You can kind of see a little bit. There's some bare spots on that one. There's really a bad one on that. Oh yeah, you can kind of see that now. So we'll let this dry down, and then we'll be back for the final coat of color. All right, back again for our third color coat. Regardless of what happens, this is going to be the last one. Because I cannot countenance doing 4 layers of nail polish. Ooh, that's still not perfect. But that was the worst nail. Part of the problem is I'm still super out of practice. I have not done my nails before last weekend. I can't even remember. It's probably since like January, February, or maybe sometime in the spring. And it is a skill that you have to practice, just like anything else. This particular polish has never been great coverage either. Which, if I was a little less spotty in my applications, I could just kind of lean into the sheer. But to like have a sheer nail polish actually look good, you have to be either really even with it, or it has to be a really forgiving polish. Get that all the way in there for the thumb. Here we go. So it's hard to do the thumb. It's like an uncomfortable angle if you lay it flat on the table. Then you have to have like extra shakiness. Having like both your hands meeting in the air. And we're just gonna say that's the best that can be. One of the bad points about American football is their tendency to replay everything to absolute death. They've got a touchdown up here they're replaying. And it's like, did the ball move slightly when he hit the ground? Sure, his whole body moved slightly when he hit the ground. They're hitting the ground at high speed, everything's gonna jiggle a little bit. Everybody can agree that that's still a touchdown, though. Let's just move it along. go. I didn't get quite enough, and then I scraped some up. Alright, that's looking less spotty though overall. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good now. Even this thumb is not looking that bad. Alright, there we go. Finally, success. Let that dry, probably for a long time, because third coats are always a pain to dry. And I'll be back shortly, hopefully, for our final top coat. Alright, here we go. We are finally back for our top coat application. Kind of a funny thing that happened is almost immediately after finishing this last coat, I went to go light a candle, and like the match was burning too fast, or what I did was I lit the match, like I had to walk across the room to get to my candle, and then by then it had like burned too much, and so the flame like went up onto my finger, as it does, which, you know, doesn't really hurt, but kind of left this weird smoke line in my nail from, I guess, the soot coming off the match. So that'll just be an interesting feature of this manicure. Kind of funny, I didn't know. That's like the first time that's ever happened to me. So very interesting. I did wash my hands to see if it would go away, but nothing doing. It's like, I think it's actual like soot particles got stuck in it while it was still like pretty sticky. So very interesting, but I cannot, like I said before, I cannot bring myself to do a fourth coat of nail polish, so that's just going to be a feature of this week's nails. Alright, so we're going to wrap it up here. It's gotten pretty dark outside, but I think I still have enough light to see. And that's just because it's kind of a front rolling in. So we've got some storm clouds gathering up. We'll see if we get an actual storm. We're supposed to, but you never know how these things will actually manifest. Still have the football on, but we've moved on to another game, which I care less about, but that's the nice part about football also, is it's just kind of like on all weekend. How did I think I got that nail already. So we can always have some nice background television chatter. Which is kind of funny. I kind of hate that when it's like not sports, because when it's like something with like an actual narrative, like, I don't know, I get too distracted. I can't look away. A lot of my friends in college would love to like put on a movie or something while we were trying to study, and I was always just like, what's wrong with y'all? How can you possibly like study while there's a movie playing? Of course, my mother was a weirdo who hated movies, so I never saw a lot of childhood movies. So they would just be like, oh, we'll put on this movie that everyone has seen a billion times. and it'll just be background noise. Nobody will care. I'd be like, hey, I've never seen this movie before, so it's not the same for all of us. And B, there are pictures moving on the screen now. When it's sports, though, it's like easier to just be like, okay, that's happening while I'm doing something else. There's ads, you can look away. There's lots of, like, I guess, checkpoints where you can just be like, okay, none of that for me. I keep losing track of where I am. I think I did that one. I wonder if y'all can hear the blue jay out there making his weird little bell noise. That's something I'm hoping to do this weekend, is go out and take care of my patio. It's gotten kind of overrun. And it's theoretically not going to be blazing hot this weekend. We'll see how that actually plays out. Alright, there we are. Nails are done. I will see y'all next week, I guess, for another one of these. Thanks for joining me.